all this passion for speed, action is proudly brought to you by Marlboro Crane Hire and Zwartkops International World of Motoring. As has become custom, Zwartkops opens up the 2025 motorsport season with a passion for speed. And once again, the 24th running has brought international drivers from all around the world and all around the country to be part and parcel of this incredible event. We kick things off with the pre-66 and 68, Little Giants and under 2 litres. These cars usually were up against the big bangers and gave them a great run for their money. But when you put the under 2 litres and Little Giants together, you get a field of cars that can really put on a spectacle. And it shows the prowess that's usually overshadowed by the slightly larger cars. When they're on their own, they're in for a great battle, as we're expecting here as the first race comes down towards turn 8. It's 2 Datsuns on the front row. Watch out for that battle between those 2 Datsuns. You're going to see Johan Kranau pushing hard to try and stay there with Sofus Pantassis, who's back from international duties here and back on his favourite racetrack in the country, heading down towards turn 1. Great start there from the Lotus Cortina in third. And in the background, keep an eye on that Little Giants battle as well. Those are the slightly smaller cars. Most of them are minis, and in fact there's 15 minis who have joined this category this weekend, which is fantastic to see. And a huge array of Fords, Alphas all thrown into the mix as well, with a couple of Datsuns. And don't forget to check out those little GWMs at the back there. They are really, really impressive. Those Trans-Africa racing machines are really, really quick. And in the hands of John Tendashate, and as we see this battle, look at this little battle starting to unrage here. Charles Needham putting the pressure onto the back end of Poulter. Poulter soaking that pressure up for now as they head to the top of the hill. But going back to that thought, there are some really, really incredible cars in this one, including that little Flamingo from Trans-Africa Racing. Onto the brakes and up towards turn 5. You can see the Datsun's got away ever so slightly, but Carl Pinot is keeping him honest, as is Alan Poulter, and here comes a big dive on the inside from the first of the minis. They are really pushing it to the limit to get through this pack. The Alpha pack now starting to get in the mix as well, as we see 33. Dirk Venter in the Ford Escort, the only Ford amongst that little battle. Initially that Datsun was on pole, remember, and it's dropped back a little bit, so maybe a little bit of issues there. It is very hot here today, so they're going to have to be very wary about trying to look after tyres and look after the engine. Remember, these are old cars. They range from about 1960 upwards in the 66 and 68 Little Giants and under 2 litres. So, overheating could be a bit of an issue. And you don't want to be pushing too hard and not too close to cars either, because those radiators will pick up on some action right from the word go. 94 flying through there. Nicholas Christofides looking for a top finish overall in the under 2 litre class, but also pushing hard in the Little Giants, and you can see just how hard he is pushing. He's sitting at the moment in about 4th place in that battle, but it's Tendashate who leads out with Brink on his tail. Out front, have we got a change up? Looks like we might have a change up for the lead. No, the Datsun's still out front there of Pantassis. We just missed him in shot, but what a battle just behind that. They start to line up here thick and fast. There comes Tendashate. He's got Brink on his tail, and slowly but surely the rest of that field comes through. There is that little Flamingo, completely different car that comes out of Trans-Africa Racing. And then Ishmael Beloy, a reigning champion on a few occasions in this category, doing a superb job in the second of the darts as he heads through turn 4. Heading to the top of the hill, he's pulled slightly away there from the rest of those little Alphas just behind him. 79 is having an incredible run here, and Roy Nossiter has found something special in that little mini. He really has turned up the work there in the Castrol and Autocomplete Clubman, but I can tell you it's not running like a club, it's running like a Cooper S. That's how impressive that little car is. Great battle continuing here between Poulter and Pinot. Pinot got the slight advantage at the moment, hanging on for dear life, but he's only got a couple of meters ahead and a couple of cars to negotiate. Now, traffic could be a major factor here, particularly as we watch in the background Needham starting to close in. Charles Needham could have a chance here of spoiling the day for both Poulter and, of course, the 3rd place car there. Oh, yeah, look at that. Here he comes, putting the pressure on. We just saw the leader go through. It's the Datsun of Pantassis looking to take the victory. But 3 cars side by side and getting it sideways out of turn 6 as well. Here's Needham as he tries to find a way through there on Poulter. Can he have a go? No, he's not close enough. Checkered flag about to come out here, and it's going to be the 2-4-1 to take the first victory of the day. Sofus Pantassis, welcome return. He beats out Pinot and Poulter for your top 3 in this under 2 litre and Little Giants combined. There is confirmation of the results. Pantassis from Pinot and Poulter. John T. Needham there in 4th place, just ahead of Mark Miller. Rory Nossiter having a superb run in the mini, beating out Jaco Kranau, Dirk Venter, and then Francesco Lombardi and Roger Houston. Let's catch up now with Sofus Pantassis, your race 1 winner.
There was a couple of times when there was 2 guys behind me creeping up, but I managed to keep steady speed and keep them at bay, and it was very enjoyable.
It's great to have Marlboro Crane Hire involved in this event, helping us get the cars onto the trailers and off the trailers when we need to. Good to have Volvo involved as well with Vic Camphor. Tom Camphor Motors in the house. He'll be in the P1800, not in his 122 as per usual. And his good friend from Ireland, Mr. Liam Murphy, has not made it out this year, but he has assured us he will be back for the 25th anniversary next year as they roll out now for race 2. Pantassus on pole. Alongside him will be Pinar right on their tail. Poulter in that 1-2 pushing hard. Mark Miller going to go with them if he can. Miller had a fantastic end to the race, but just couldn't quite stay with those cars initially. Nossiter had an amazing race in that Mini as he heads down towards turn 2 for the first time. As they get down there, Miller runs wide, opens up the door. Jonty Needham sneaks through there. Nicely done. And here comes Tendashate diving on the inside, trying to find a way early on. It looks like on Houston. Houston side by side there. And we go on board with Vic Camphor. This is the P1800 from Tom Camphor Volvo. And of course, they've also got their electric car here on display. And it was one of our official vehicles for the day as well. Fantastic to have them on board and part and parcel of this event. Coming through on the Mini and now trying to sneak through on the 48. Oh, Yucko Taylor, hang tight. Camphor's not holding back here. He didn't make it out for the first one, but he's certainly pushing hard here in the second one and wants to be a little bit higher up than where he is right now. A bit of work to do there for them. Oh, was that a touch in the background? It was. Miller getting a little tag. You can see the headlight out on that second Datsun. Crane out, just giving a little tap onto the back end there of the Alpha, and it's gone sideways. And a whole bunch of cars coming out of that now. We're on board with Camphor again. He's tucked right behind. This looks like Ishmael Beloy, yes. And then John Tendashate takes up the road there. Chad, his son, is leading the Little Giants at this point in time. And now looking for a chance to dive on the inside. Under braking. Ooh, that's late braking. She'll give him a little bit of room to play. That P1800 coming through there. Safety car has been deployed. Understandably, there is a car stricken in quite a dangerous place. And of course, with the new kitty litter, it certainly holds those cars back. There is the replay. Just a small touch on the back. A thing intended, I don't think, in a harmful way, but unfortunately it has put Miller into the dirty stuff and out of the race. Here comes Poulter for the restart. Remember, he cannot overtake Pantassus until they cross the line. And watch out for Pinar as well. Pinar closing right there onto the tail, looking to try and get through. They've got 4 laps to go. They drop the hammer, and the Datsun gets the little bit of an advantage, heading down towards turn 1. Looks like they've got a little bit more turn of pace than the Cortina's got. The Cortina hangs on to second place, and Poulter slots into third. Here comes John T for fourth. Behind that's Cranar. One less light makes it slightly lighter, I would say, probably. Pun intended on that one as they go down towards turn 2, Castrol corner. Coming out of Castrol, Jonty's on the inside, trying to get the drive and squeeze through there on that Volvo. Back on board with the other Volvo, and this is on the back of Christofides. And is that Brink just up the road there? I think it might be. They're having a fantastic battle here nonetheless. The baby blue car is going at it. And that Broadbent Mini just out front. This is a long way around turn 3, Vic Camphor. Can you make it stick? Yes, you can. That is some superb driving there from Vic Camphor to come around the outside of Christofides and get through. Looking for a way through. Still in the second of those Tom Camphor Volvos is Alan Poulter. He and John T. Needham has actually found a way through. So Needham now sneaks up ever so slightly up into the mix there and into potential third place. That could put him on the podium overall for the day as well. I don't think they're going to catch Pantassus. Pinar has tried. So has Needham. So has Poulter. So has Cranar. No one's had an answer to Pantassus' pace out front. They've really prepped that car well. Back on board with Vic as he closes once again on the back end here. And trying to find... Ooh, sideways is not the way you want to get a Mini into that corner. That is for sure. That's going to hurt. But fortunately avoids the spinning Mini and gets through. Here comes Roger Houston having a big dive in the late efforts here, and also a late dive coming through there from Chad Tendashate. Checkered flag is on standby for a double win for Sophos Pantassus. And look at that, Pinar right on his tail. And Cranar might have snuck through. Yes, he has. Cranar snuck through and got past on both the cars that he was dicing with there. Fantastic effort, just beating out Needham and Poulter. So there's the official results. Pantassus, Pinar and Cranar ahead of Needham and Poulter. Fenta beats out Roger Houston. Lombardi, Chad Tendashate wins out the Little Giants, and Carl Brink there in 10th place. Let's catch up now with Carl Pinar after a fantastic day in the saddle.
It was exhausting, but in any case, it was a nice race. It was a clean race. We had some very good ices in the race between me, Alan, and also Pantassus. So Datsun. So it went very well. It's the best I can do with a car in the current circumstances. Yeah.
Welcome back to action from the 24th running of the Passion for Speed at Zwartkops International World of Motoring. We're heading into the pre-00 International Sports Racing Prototypes and Trans Ams combined, including this exceptionally rare Can-Am McLaren M8F. What a magnificent piece of machinery Michiel Campagna has brought along for this year's event, and really one to watch out for at the front end. It's not quite there yet. It's Jonathan du Toit who's on pole position with Larry Wolford alongside him and his brother right on his tail hunting him down. Look out for the Shelbys thrown into the mix as well. All of a sudden, because it's now pre-00, the Shelby Can-Ams become part and parcel and are eligible to join this category as part of this awesome field of cars about to go to battle here for the first race of 2025 for ISPs. You can see in the mix there also a couple of the old Westbank and Mobil 1 V8 supercars thrown into the mix too. The 917 Porsche of Peter Bailey, who we just saw in the background. But watch out, I should say that McLaren's going to come flying through rapidly, and he's starting to tick them off one by one. Side by side here between du Toit and Wolford into turn 4 as they come through there. De Matteo has pulled out the old Mustang as well. Great to see that car back on track. Haven't seen it for a long time in race trim, as he goes hunting down, and it looks like a couple of guys going a little bit hayward. Yes, someone's run wide. It's Roy Campos. Campos has gone onto the entrance road for top of the hill and used it as an exit road for turn 4 because it didn't quite go according to plan on the brakes there for the big V8 powered Shelby Can-Am there. He was a little bit further back in the pack, so maybe pushing a bit too hard right from the word go to make up lost ground. Speaking of pushing hard, Jonathan du Toit is all over the exhaust pipe of that Lola T70 ahead of him. And that's piloted by Larry Wolford, who is a wily character and a wily campaigner at this track. But it is home ground advantage to both the du Toits, who are sitting behind him comfortably in second and third at the moment, waiting to pounce. Maybe waiting for a little bit later on in the race. They can't wait too long though. Oh, because if something like this happens on the Lancia, that's not good. That is Roy Douglas in the Lancia, buried in the top end of the field, which has brought out the safety car. Our Praetorian Toyota Corolla is out for the first time. Now we go back into formation, and this time it'll be Larry Wolford to dictate the pace. He's on the right-hand side, that's the pole. They will hold position as they go through turn 1. Remember, there won't be yellow flags like there would be in a normal start, but this time it's every man for himself. And you can see already spreading out there. De Matteo diving on the inside, Campagna side by side, and a big moment. A huge moment there. The 26 car goes flying sideways, and Steve Clark from KwaZulu-Natal has ended up in the kiddie litter. He came together, I think, with the other Shelby as they went into turn number 1, and the two of them are going to be stuck in that kiddie litter. It's not. It's the 30 car. Wow, can you believe that? Russell Fear in the Lola T70 Spider has got it all wrong going through there. And between the two of them, they ended up in the kiddie litter. I think Steve Clark actually avoided Russell Fear, who had a problem and spun out right in front of him. Campos is back on track, but there's a very good possibility we may be seeing a safety car coming out in the very near future. There's a car spun out here at turn number 8 as well. It looks like that might be the B19 there. And yes, indeed, I think there's a good possibility we're going to be seeing a safety car. There we go. Red flag, in fact. As I say that, the red flag comes out. There's cars stricken all over the circuit, and lots of work to be done down here, particularly in turn 1, as we've got two big cars stuck in the kiddie litter. So it's not quite according to plan there for the start of this first International Sports Prototypes, but it did bring out those incredibly awesome cars. There we just saw Henny G going through there in his Camaro. There's Colin Ellison's B19. Unfortunately, the Lucky Strike car has almost gone through the gate. If they'd opened the gate, he probably would have been okay. But unfortunately, he's stuck there in turn 8. So there are a couple of cars that had to be picked up, and that brought the race to a little bit of a shorter end than what was expected. Wolford taking the victory ahead of Marks, and a great job there from Michiel Campagna to come up into top 3, beating De Matteo and Henny G. With this nice mix of cars, of course, one car that was missing from that result was Mark du Toit. Not quite sure what happened with him. Maybe some kind of a mechanical issue there on the Lola T70 Spider. But you can see here, these cars were certainly in the mix. And Tony Marks having a fantastic run there, finishing up in second place. But now a little bit of work to be done in between the two heats. It's Larry Wolford and Marks that are on the front row. Watch out for that McLaren coming from the second row alongside the Italian stallion. Henny Groenewald in that very, very quick Camaro lines up alongside Jonathan du Toit. And then the Porsche just behind that of Campos as they fly down towards turn number 1. Roy Campos trying to come through the field pretty rapidly. Watch out in the background. Another Roy out there is the 924. That's Roy Aubrey having a fantastic run in his 924 Porsche. Great to see that new car back onto the circuit right there with Stefan Pushkevez. And fighting it out in amongst the normal Porsche battle that rages at the back. A man to watch out for, though, certainly is going to be that beige-coloured car at the back of the field. That's an ex-Westbank modified saloon car, and in the hands of Lee Thompson is a very dangerous car and will be certainly watched by our cameraman coming through here rapidly, because didn't quite go according to plan for him in the first one. He had to start at the back and came through nicely. He's starting at the back again here in that Opel Astra, and he's already onto the tailpiece there of Colin Ellison. Pantassis in the field, mixing it nicely there with Andre van der Merwe. Thompson's already through. Oh, Colin Ellison's got a problem. He puts his hand up. Neil Lobb just avoids the back end of that B19 in his Lola T70. Very lucky to avoid that, but Ellison has certainly got a problem. He's moved completely off the line, realizing that he doesn't want to drop any fluids onto the circuit. So Neil Lobb is also a nice welcome return for him into motorsport in South Africa. I haven't seen him behind the wheel of a race car in a long time, but that Gunston coloured and Pecco machine of his, that T70 looks really good. Getting away ever so slightly there from Pinar, and then it's a Vakomides, and Stefan Pushkov is now a little bit closer to Aubrey. The 21 car, as you can see there, that's Mark du Toit in that car, so there must have been some kind of issue, as I mentioned earlier on, with the T70 Spider that comes out of Trans-African Racing, and du Toit's climbed into the spare car, which is the Daytona. That's not a nice one. I think I might have given the commentator's curse there to Aubrey. I'd mentioned how good that little 924 was, and it's not going to finish up the second heat. It finished the first one. Speaking of finishing the first one, looks like a second one could be a new man at the front end. Oh, Groenewald with problems. As I was picking up on the leader there, Michiel Campagna hitting the front. Groenewald blows something huge as they go into turn 6. Gets off the track almost instantaneously. Hopefully no fluids have been dropped onto the circuit, but the new leader, oh no, there's definitely fluids. There we go. Two cars caught out there. One is Pantassis, the other one is Lobb. So Henry Groenewald tried to get off the line as quickly as possible, and safety car has been deployed again. Oh, it's been an absolute nightmare day today with a couple of incidents. But we will be racing once again here, and it's about 2 laps of sprinting to go now that they've cleared all the issues. Marks ahead of Campos. Campos and Campos fighting hard there. That is fantastic to see. Jason and Roy all in the in-house battle there for the Team Campos boys. Wilford behind that Chevron B8 of du Toit. Du Toit tucked in behind the Italian stallion, Franco Di Matteo. Di Matteo would love to beat this McLaren, but I don't know if that Mustang has got the legs here on this M8F. That's a Can-Am car. Of course, what history and incredible heritage that car has got. And Michiel Campagna bringing it here to South Africa is just a welcome sight for all of motorsport when you open up a series of the 2025 season and see that car in full flight. As it comes up under braking, you can see they're trying to avoid that outside line. That's where all the oil and dust were put down. So they all go inside, making it a bit more difficult for cars to try and find a way through. Oh, as I say that, there goes Di Matteo, trying something to get through there on the McLaren, and he spins it out all on his own. Maybe just climbed on the loud pedal a little bit early there. Not used to driving that car. He hasn't driven it in a long time. Normally in the Black Cat, remember. This time in the Mustang. So let's have a look at that. As he comes out of turn 7, just climbs on the loud pedal. Yeah, steps out on him. Catches it, fortunately, but has dropped right to the back of the pack. And that's going to give Michiel Campagna a pretty easy run. Oh, as I say that, hang on a second. Larry Wolford has decided to join the party. Wolford turns the wick up with a lap to go, and he's now going to try and find a way through here. Look at this. This is brilliant stuff. This is what we've all come to see at Passion for Speed. These cars fighting as they did in the era that they come from. It wasn't really a T70 against a McLaren, but you know what I'm saying, and you get the gist of it. But it is Larry Wolford who's giving Michiel Campagna a run for his money here, big time, as they come down towards the final corner. The McLaren is going to hang on just to beat out Larry Wolford's T70 and the B8 behind that of Jonathan du Toit. I told you Thompson would be there. He's up to 4th place from the back of the pack, beating out Anthony Marks and the 2 Campos boys. Amazing stuff there. Absolutely brilliant. Jason beating Roy, as I said, for 6 and 7. It was Van der Merwe, Bailey and Groenewald just behind them. But Michiel Campagna, the top of the list, and what a run there from that McLaren. Let's catch up with arguably one of the most awesome-looking cars on track, Peter Bailey in his 917.
Hectic competition. The guys they wouldn't give an inch. It was really, really good racing, and I hope the crowds loved it. The sponsors loved it. But yeah, that was good racing. Very hot out there, 35 degrees. But what can I say? Great. We'll be back next year.
Let's catch up with race winner and Dutch driver Michiel Campagna.
You know, the result was good, but at the beginning we had a race this morning, and a lot of safety car, yellows and people overtaking, and so I started at 10 because the practice was a bit difficult, all tires, and we put some new tires on, so we came 3rd. And the second race was good. I quickly, after a few laps, took the pole, and it was going good. I thought I'm going to win this race, and then suddenly again a safety car. So then the field was again close to each other, and but in the last lap I could win the race, so the result was good. Welcome back to Zwartkops and the 24th running of Passion for Speed here
An incredible crowd. I would say almost record crowd. I don't think we quite got there yet to break the record, but everybody was entertained, and they were certainly going to be entertained when Robert Volk brought the Sassel Jordan out onto the track for a demo. We caught up with Ian Schofield to give us a little bit of history about the car. The history behind the car, as I said, the Jordan is pretty special from a South African point of view. We're having Sassel as the big sponsor of that car in its era.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was one of the main driving reasons that drove me to buy and bring the car back. And I think what a lot of people don't realise was Sassel's involvement in Formula One. They think, a lot of people think, oh, they just put a sticker on the car or whatever. Far from it.
Yeah.
It was a complete joint sort of venture in the technology side of it. Not just only in terms of fuels. Sassel's fuels in that era were the envy of the world. All the other F1 teams were trying to get them.
Correct.
So there were engines here at Sassel's facilities in Cape Town on the dynos, working away with the fuels. There was also some aerodynamic work went on here at the CSIR in Pretoria with models in the wind tunnel here. So it was a complete collaboration between Sassel and Jordan. And so it was very important to me to bring that car back to South Africa.
And of course, Eddie, a massive fan of South Africa himself, having a home in Cape Town. He's always here, so he must be loving seeing this every now and again on social media with this car sauntering around either here or up the hill.
Well, actually, it was very funny because when we had the car at the Red Bull activation in Sandton, DC drove into the car park where he was, stopped his drivers, jumped out of the bus, ran over to us and said, can I get in the car? So he leapt inside the car, handed his cell phone to Stuart Thompson and said, please video me. So Stuart says, okay, points the phone at him, and he goes, right, EJ, I told you I'd get in one of your cars one day.
From that incredible sound of an F1, we go into the Lamar Sports and GTs for the 45-minute classic TT here at Zwartkops. James Temple has won it, Roy Campos has won it, the Toy boys have won it on multiple occasions. Is there going to be another epic battle in this year's format of this TT? All the cars have to come in at some point. They may not come in the first 10 minutes or the last 5, but a compulsory 3-minute stop has to happen. You may do a driver change if you want to. You can do some refueling. That has to happen down in the pre-race area, just to make sure that everybody's safe. That is down in the pit lane. But we're under race conditions now, and it's a nice array of cars as well. Not just the usual contenders at the front end with GT40s and Daytonas. A couple of BMWs thrown in there as well. A little Marauder of note coming out of Trans-Africa Racing. A Porsche 910 at the back and a 914 too. And problems already. Someone seems to have gone off at turn 4. It's the G4 Argenetta there of the Dovies. I think Jake is driving the car initially. He was going to hand to Josh a bit later on. It doesn't seem to have gone according to plan, though, as it's gone off there in turn 4. Robbie Frank pulling away ever so slightly here from the mid-pack of cars. Francesco Lombardi thrown into the mix there as well. The 135 coming through there of Franco Resca getting past that 914 Porsche. And look at that. Oh, nice to see that car in there. The Michael Briggs replica of Colonel Mustard himself, and he's piloting it side by side with Stuart Mack. Stuart Mack for the very first time coming to a passion for speed. Great to have him here and being part and parcel of it. That is superb to see. That K Eddie Estates BMW, owned by Roy Campos, piloted by Anthony Taylor. So much heritage just in that car. It's frightening. The front end, though, the battle is between the Daytonas and GT40s. And this is about 3rd or 4th place at the moment, not quite the front end, as Peter Bailey goes on the attack, trying to find a way through there on Fenter. Dirk Fenter has been demoted down 1 position by Peter Bailey, who has also won this event in the past. So he knows exactly what it takes to get through 45 minutes, particularly when you're sitting in 37 degrees Celsius temperatures. Yes, you can't see that on your screen right now, but the drivers can certainly feel it. And I'm telling you now, as hot as the action is here at the front end between these first 3 cars, with James Temple leaning out there over Warren Lombard and then DeToy, those 3 cars are also going to be exceptionally hot. Yes, an open cockpit is not a bad thing to have on a hot day like this. The problem that Warren Lombard's having is he's getting baked on by the sun. Joining the party there is the 40 car, and a fantastic run there from Peter Bailey, who's now gotten away from Fenter and is looking to close down on the first of the GT40s up the road there. Oh, someone is off. That's a big one through turn 4. And it's just dust everywhere as he went through the kitty litter. We'll try and work out who that car is as it comes out of the dust. But a big moment nonetheless there for somebody who's come out of the turn 4 corner and got it all wrong. As the dust settles, it's Stuart Kidgel. Dr. Stuart Kidgel in the Alpha 147 GTA has gone off and hit the tyre barriers. So, fortunately, he's walked away. Warren Lombard with problems down a Cashel corner as well. He's pulled to the sideline. That is ex and former champion in this category and class as well. And look at that, Bailey too. Oh, there's problems. There must be some kind of fluid down there because that's a spinning Daytona behind him there. The 8-car piloted by Siafari Jr. has also spun out and just avoided the back end of that GT40. Let's see if any more cars get caught out here. Anthony Taylor goes through the oil, goes onto the dirt. Avoiding the oil, great job there. Ollie DeLay sneaking through in the Marlboro Crane GT40. He gets ahead of Taylor. Fenter's also avoided the oil, realizing that, the background, we got the Honda spinning out. Looks like the AC Cobra spun out as well from Transavia Racing, so Tender Charte's got it sideways. That would be either Rob Clark or Mike O'Sullivan in the Honda that gone into the dirt as well. Good to see Siafi get back on, ahead of Davison. Kusi Swanepoel diving on the inside of the Marauder of John Tender Charte. But there you can see Franco Resca also stuck in the kiddie litter with a whole bunch of cars getting caught out by that oil, which means we're going to be under safety car for a little while here. And a lot of cars are now going to take the opportunity. You can see one car already in pit lane there. That was Delay. Warren Lombard has got going again for the second time, but he's now probably 2-3 laps down, so that's not going to be good for him. You can see he takes up his position at the back of the pack there behind another slightly damaged coupe version of the AC Cobra. And with that, a bit of smoke coming out of that car as well. That'll be concerning. Have to keep an eye on that as they head to the top of the hill. Great work once again from our marshals. They do such an incredible job here at Zwartkops, and they really are working double time here today with the amount of incidents we've had. It's been action-packed all day long. As into pit lane goes the Trans Africa Racing machine there of Chad Tendashate. That is Peter Bailey's car being pushed out of harm's way. Diving in is Siafari Jr. to take advantage of the safety car. Joining him looks like one of the Alpha GT Juniors. Safety car will stay out. And it's Chris Davison who has now literally taken the literal lead of the race. It's not the official lead of the race because a couple of cars behind him have been in during the safety car to do their allotted pit stops and get those out of the way. Lombard goes back out. Slightly misfiring car. He did say he got out the car to try and see what the issue was. Let's see how things have gone here down in pit lane with a couple of the drivers.
So we're about to change drivers. So the 45-minute stint, there's been a long safety car, so it's a good time to pull the driver in and change over the car. And as you see, he's just missed the pits again, so it'll be next lap.
Yeah, there's a lot of oil on the track. The condition, otherwise the track's good, but there's been a lot of oil dropped, and now at the top corner there's a big oil spill there and a lot of cars went off, so there's sand, cement, so you got to be careful on what you're doing there.
Tim Abbott handing that Porsche over to Jen now to finish up the race. Nice little partnership there between the two of them. Always a very good contender in the mid-pack. But as you'll see, they've just waiting for cars there in the pre-race. A couple of cars doing some fueling, including race leaders there, the Detoys. Looks like John is going to hand the duties across to Mark Detoy, which means looks like James Temple might take the lead of the race there. This is the lead on the track, but not the lead overall in terms of the race. Kirsty Swanepoel having a fantastic dash here now that Stuart Mack has joined him in that Opel Superboss. Well, Toyota taking on the Superboss in a really great battle there between the man from Cape Town. Behind them, not too far behind actually, is that Marauder of Tender Chartes. There's a really fast little Marauder that comes up there. Change the surface will stay there the whole time. They're going to hold that inside line and avoid the dirt if possible. There's no doubt that no one wants to go through there and spin out again. But James Temple has slowly but surely made his way, and I think if he comes across the line on this next pass, he could potentially have taken the lead of the race overall as he dives on the inside of the Lotus 23 there of Robbie Frank. A bit of windscreen wipers coming on there. Is there a bit of rain coming down there possibly? Or was it maybe just because of a bit of fluid? Or has he just left the windscreen wipers on by accident? They come across the line. Yes, Temple has now taken the lead of the race. You can see a bit of chopping and changing here in this second half of the race, and it's because of what we had with those incidents earlier on. Taylor dives on the inside. This is Swanepoel down towards turn 2, Castral Corner, with the Opel Superboss behind him. Then it's the Marauder. Then Delay. I think actually Ollie Delay could be leading on the road right now, and he's about to be caught by James Temple as now Mark Detoy resumes onto the track and back into the hunt for what would be TT Honours for 2025. He might be a bit far back though. I think there's a possibility that they didn't quite get that one timed to perfection for the Detoys. They've got the AC working nicely though with that modification.
On the top corner, it's very full of oil, so it's all good. Okay. Thanks.
Action on track sees James Temple get ahead of Oliver Delay. We're watching pit lane at the same time, and here comes the Janetta. A little bit stricken, as you can see there, and Jake and Josh Dovey not going to be happy about that, but certainly Temple going to be happy about taking the lead of the race into the closing stages, ahead now of Delay. Marcus Sullivan's already been off the circuit earlier on. He's now going to hand the duties to Rob Clark. Anthony Taylor is back into the KAD Estates BMW, but let's catch up with Marco.
We had an unfortunate incident on, I think, lap 2. A GT40 dropped its oil at the top and we all landed in the kitty litter. I got stones in the clutch mechanism and we can't operate the clutch. So we're driving around in 4th gear. We'll make it to the end, but very slowly.
Yeah, got it in the high gear there, Marco. Speaking of high gears, a little bigger tyres there, Chrissy Swanepoel will help you out, buddy. The toys are coming through, but looks like is there a problem? There's a problem there on the Detroit GT40 as it pulls onto the inside, and Mark is going to retire that car. That is not what the Detroit wanted. They wanted that 8th victory. You can see the bonnet's been ripped off that AC Cobra. Dirk Venter closing in on him. The second of the Lindenberg Racing machines out there doing a superb job and looking to try and stay ahead of Chrissy Swanepoel and Chris Davison. Taylor now coming up on Reska. Second, the Marauders being caught and passed by him, as well as they head down towards turn 4. Keep an eye on the background as well to possibly pick up on Dirk Venter's teammate, James Temple. He'll be looking to try and pick up that checkered flag and take a victory. It'll be his 3rd victory, and he's won it on every single occasion on odd-numbered years. So is there going to be a tradition there from James Temple if he stays out front for now? 91 car slowly but surely closing in on that Marauder, and it's not an easy car to get past, especially when you've got the likes of the Tender Chartes behind the wheel. Fent, as I said, has had a pretty much plain sailing, no worried race at all. Stayed out of harm's way. He missed the oil, fortunately, catching a glimpse of it, of course, spinning ahead of him, and came in for a very quick and well-timed pit stop to get him up into potentially the top 5 overall, and even possibly a 1 and 3 here for Lindenberg Racing. He's not too far off that 3rd place at this stage. His teammate, though, James Temple, Jimmy T, has done this to the perfection and stayed out of trouble, stayed out of harm's way, kept the rest of the field behind him, did his pit stop to perfection as well, and came through and is now going to come and take the checkered flag. And another victory in the TT for Lindenberg Racing. That is his 3rd one, and James Temple's going to be happy with that. Tanya from Zwartkops waving the checkered flag there for our TT finish. Great to see that. The boss lady who's done such an amazing job behind the scenes. 2nd place is going to be Ollie Delay from Marlborough Crane Hire. That's pretty apt considering the amount of effort that they put in to assist with this event. To have him on the main podium is always a good thing. And in the background, is it going to be Venter? I think he might have squeezed through there. Lombard is 2 laps down, so don't have to worry too much about that. It just depends on where the 3rd car ended up there. But is it going to be Delay in 2nd? It is Steve Clark just beating Dirk Venter there on that last lap. And Clark comes through for the overall podium, beating Venter and Taylor. Tender Chartes is sharing that car. Simpson and Wilmot ahead of Swanepoel. And what a finish there to the TT. 2nd place goes to Ollie Delay.
Yeah, look, I think last year the car broke, the year before the car broke. And at the time when it broke, I was leading the race. But I sort of haven't been racing a lot, so I've gone a bit green. You know, I've slowed down and I'm getting older.
The 2025 TT champion is James Temple from Lindenberg Racing.
It was a very challenging race. We're not going to win index of performance, that's for sure. The car, we weren't going quick at all. We got the job done at the end of the day, and this is what I've been waiting for. To do 3 that's all I wanted. So super happy. I'm over the moon. Thanks to the team, the sponsors. It's just been incredible.